Good morning, everybody. Dave Neal here for your morning rush hour ride to work on this Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. We got a lot to get into. Here are the stories of the day. We're going to share what Nick Vel had to say regarding two of the big stories we've been covering. One is Spencer Pratt and how he's defending his lady following the wildfire disaster. And the other is how Ryan Reynolds is defending Blake Lively. Two very, very different scenarios. I'm going to share what Nick had to say and offer my opinion. So that's a 2-for-1. Also, TikTok saved. One of the many executive orders by President Trump on day one was to, I guess, prolong TikTok in the U.S. while they try to work out a deal. I'll share what he had to say. Also, along with executive orders, are pardons. Incoming pardons here of January 6th. I guess you could call them insurrectionists or whichever law you think they violated by storming the Capitol. He's going to be pardoning, I think, around 1,500 of them. And also a wild trending story about Elon Musk, one of which I have to be careful how I discuss because of the, platform rules and regulations here on YouTube and on the audio platform. But Elon Musk accused of making a gesture that, if so, should be highly cancelable. A lot of people are defending him. No surprises. You can see the footage for yourself. And then Carrie Underwood sings, and she had to sing a cappella. I'll share that to wrap things up. Also, we've got several other stories like Kid Rock hitting on a reporter. Yikes. What else can you say about that? I got all these stories and so much more coming up next on The Rush. Up first today, we've got Bachelor Nick Vel of the Vel Files podcast, which, by the way, did he change the way he pronounced his last name to rhyme with Vel Files? I thought it was Vial. Either way, it doesn't matter. Here are his thoughts on Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag, and his thoughts on Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Two very different scenarios. He's going to attempt to link them up, and we're going to probably do a little correction. The first is Spencer Pratt, who's going to town for his lady, trying to get every connection he knows to share her song so that they can use that added momentum and money to help buy back, or I should say to help raise the funds they need to build their home back after the devastating wildfires. What went down with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively is yet to be seen. It's a little bit more of a he said, she said, right? She's suing Justin Baldoni for harassment, and Justin Baldoni suing her for $400 million, claiming that Ryan Reynolds orchestrated, with her help, obviously, them seizing control of his movie. So, very different scenarios. Let's listen to what Nick has to say.
My favorite thing about this story is just the way Heidi and Spencer are a team. I love the way husbands will support a wife. It's just the way Spencer has been riding for Heidi in the manner that he has. I find it to be so awesome and so attractive in a way that I think we need more of that. I think we need to celebrate it. Just in general, I don't think we do that enough. I think too much now our society is very much individualistic. It's all about thinking about what you need yourself. I love that we're, I think, transitioning to more celebrating people who are protecting their own, thinking outside of themselves.
Now, listen, I'm actually, and again, I don't love to disagree with Nick here, but I think we do live in a society where you protect your family. I think we always have. So I kind of reject that. Maybe it's just the type of news you get. You don't always see that. But what Spencer is doing to help his wife Heidi, again, I give him a lot of credit for it, but I mean, I think that's what you do when you have nothing left, right? When your back's against a wall. You know what the irony is here is that that's exactly what I was doing to protect my family when I was being threatened with a $120 million lawsuit. I was trying to urge my audience and use whatever sort of cachet, whatever equity I had within the Bachelor community to get other Bachelor alumni to basically publicly speak about what was going on, draw more attention to the fact that Bachelor Clayton Echard was getting a raw deal. He was the victim of fraud, in my belief. And again, I was able to prove that medical fraud existed, but I needed that help in October of 2023. Nick didn't end up talking about it till January of 2024. And my point is that I understand that feeling. And you might say, Dave, what are you talking about? You didn't lose your home like Spencer did. Yeah, of course, not to that level. But I understand that feeling of somebody threatening to take away everything you have and doing whatever it is under your power to try to fight for what you need. And in my case, it was exposure so that my family didn't get sued into oblivion for hundreds of millions of dollars, which sounds insane right now, but those were the threats, right? So again, I reject the fact that this is a new thought, but I do think we should continue to celebrate these feel-good stories.
Or is this the way, Justin Baldoni's back in the news? Apparently his lawyer is demanding Disney hold documents to support his claim that Ryan teased him in Deadpool.
Did this stem from social media? Like, was this some fan who was like, oh, I think Nice Pool's about, and then they were like...
I think fans always are looking for Easter eggs and speculate, but it really stemmed from Justin Baldoni's lawyer doing his press tour and trying to, try this case in the court of public opinion. Whether he allegedly mocked him or not, who knows? But back to, supporting your partner, I mean, even if that were true, or whether it's berating Justin for fat-shaming his wife, all these stories are centered around, supposedly, Ryan defending his wife. That should be celebrated. We should back that up. Once again, I'm all for people standing up for their wives, their partners, their friends, their family, their people, their coworkers. And so back to Heidi and Spencer, I love the way they're supporting each other.
Okay, so again, two very different topics. I'm going to cover this way more extensively on today's YouTube video where I feature both of these topics. It's very challenging to discuss short form now, but as somebody who has spent 5.5 hours reading Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, you watched it here, folks, it took 5.5 hours to get through. And also having spent 3-4 hours, whatever it was, reading Blake's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and the PR folks and everyone involved. It's so different. If Ryan Reynolds is supporting his wife, Blake Lively, of course. Of course, if he needs to be the advocate for her, absolutely. I've had the same scenarios working in entertainment where my wife is, has a photographer who's being creepy or whatever, and you got to show up on set sometimes and make your presence known because people take advantage of others. Absolutely. But if it's the case, and we don't know entirely for sure, but there's tons of evidence to point to it. But if there's a case where Ryan Reynolds is trying to help his wife take control of the film and therefore throwing Justin under the bus, well, that collateral damage would be very, very bad. That's not just protecting your wife. That's almost enabling, really. We're going to get into more of that conversation. My guess is Nick isn't as educated on the story as I am. And with that said, we'll give him some grace here. But hey, that's what YouTube's for, right? Re-educating people if they don't necessarily have the story right. All right, let's move it on to, so again, I don't need to play the clip of Spencer Pratt, but here, well, you know what? Here he was. This was a week ago. He was calling out Alex Cooper, the biggest female voice in podcasting, saying, you got to help my wife out. And basically saying, if you're not on our team, then you're an enemy of ours. And look, I get it. I respect it. It's life or death. He's supporting his family. All right, tough story here. This is the moment where Tyra Banks actually announces for the first time publicly that she lost her home in the wildfire.
We know that you lived in LA.
Yes.
And you've got family and friends there.
Yes.
How are they doing after the fires?
Some are doing okay, and some are, not doing so great. Yeah.
Well, people who've lost their houses.
I'm one of them.
You lost your house?
Exclusive. Yes, I lost my house. I haven't really talked about it, but yeah, I have. I just didn't want to pull a lot of attention to me. I feel like there's a lot of people that need that attention, so I haven't really talked about it, but I can't sit here and not tell the truth that, yeah, we lost our house.
For these morning TV shows, they're trying to be bubbly. She's like, yeah, I lost my home. And again, my heart goes out to her, to Spencer, to all the folks. We have so many stories of friends, and again, as this, as the stories kind of emerge of people finally starting to tell them, it's going to be years of people just sharing these heartbreaking stories. If there's anyone in our community that we can help, specifically in our community, please let me know. Otherwise, we've kind of just been letting the response, all of the, sort of responses that already exist between FEMA and, all the executive responses, because what are you going to do? There's a trillion GoFundMe's going on and people are trying to get the help that they can, but if there's anyone out there, please let us know. All right, here's just a real creepy story. Should we do creepy? Let's do creepy. We have Kid Rock. He's hitting on a BBC reporter. I guess this is after the inauguration. He's probably drinking. Maybe he's shooting down cans of Bud Light. Who really knows? Let's have a watch.
I'm done with work, so I can actually celebrate the rebirth of America today. What about you? What are you doing? Where are you at?
Well, I'm standing on a rooftop in these very, very chilly conditions. I will be on air for 11 or 12 hours, so I don't think I'll have anywhere near as fun a day as you have planned for yourself there. That sounds like you got the better deal here indeed.
I mean, I can't see you right now, so I don't know what you look like.
Well, I look like I'm ready to hit the slopes, I can tell you.
You can hear there's another reporter trying to cut in and cut him off here. But yeah, this is on TV. And look, I guess, I mean, on one end you say, well, shoot your shot. And on the other, boy, give this lady a raise for having to deal with Kid Rock.
Full on ski gear here with my hat, gloves, the whole thing, ready to rock, because you got to be wrapped up against the elements, don't you?
I love to go skiing. I love to go skiing. You sound sexy. You want to go with me?
Oh, boy. Now, look, on the off chance that she's a Kid Rock fan, maybe she says yes, but this is election coverage at BBC News. I guess if you're BBC News, maybe don't interview Kid Rock. Maybe don't do that. Maybe that's a start.
Well, we won't get into that right here. So we're doing no skiing today. We've got a day of broadcasting to do. But Kid Rock, thank you so much for joining us here on BBC News. Enjoy your day.
I guess she's just not that into him. Wow, that was kind of gross. All right, coming up next, we've got Amy Klobuchar explaining what it was like to ride in the limo with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. All right, so here it is. This is the clip. Amy Klobuchar, Democrat from Minnesota, served as chair of the inaugural ceremony committee. Her responsibilities were riding in the car with the presidents. I just imagine her sitting in the middle between the two of them. Either way, here's what she had to say.
We got in the car, and honestly, there was not a moment of silence, and I bet you wish you were in there. But if I told everything, I wouldn't be invited back. I will tell you that we discussed between those two, the car ride and at the White House, a lot of discussion about the fires in Los Angeles. We also talked about the rebuilding and the fact that the Olympics are coming up, and this will be a moment for L.A. to rise from the ashes. That was a good discussion. We might have talked a little bit about NFL playoff games. I thought that was a safe area to discussion.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you're just like Don Trump and Joe Biden. You're like, so how's the weather? Good. Hey, does the Oval Office still have my, it's like, golly.
The Vikings, didn't fare as well as I wanted, but we had some discussions about that. We talked about inaugurations, and overall, it was very cordial.
All right, there it is. Very cordial. And again, it just goes to show, I'm not saying they're best friends, but I think when it comes down to it, people in the presence of others, it's all bark, no bite, right? There was all this talk about how they're super incompetent and this and that, and then all of a sudden it's like there they are riding together, two old farts in a limo. All right, President Trump signs an executive order to keep TikTok until a deal can be reached. Here he is signing that order.
You wanted to block TikTok. Why did you change your mind?
Because the question was, why did you change your mind about TikTok?
I got to use it. And remember, TikTok is largely about kids, young kids. If China's going to get information about young kids, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think we have bigger problems than that. But when you take a look at telephones that are made in China and all the other things that are made in China, military equipment made in China, I think TikTok is not their biggest problem. But there's big value in TikTok if it gets approved. If it doesn't get approved, there's no value. So if we create that value, why aren't we entitled to like half?
That's it's very interesting into a psyche. He says, if we create that value, why aren't we entitled to half? And then he goes on to say that it might have a value of $1 trillion. So if they need to have his signature to stay around in the U.S., he says the U.S. is entitled to half of that. But the question is, who then owns it? Is it going to be government owned? I mean, at that point, it's getting pretty crazy if we have government-owned media. But as we see right now, that we have basically 4 or 5 people that own the majority of media. We've got Elon Musk, we've got Zuckerberg, we've got Shu, who owns TikTok, right? And then we've got Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, but also owns the Washington Post. So again, it's not like we have the most Democratic-led platforms there, because in the end, they're controlled by somebody who gets to decide which direction the algorithm goes. There's a lot of power up top, so to say. All right, speaking of power up top, there was no designated survivor at the inaugural event for Donald Trump. Of course, we know that is the person who's in the cabinet that they don't let go to the facility in case there's a tragedy that happens. Have a listen to NBC News.
We're told today there is no what's known as the designated survivor. People may be familiar with that when it comes to a State of the Union address where one member of the cabinet, so someone who has sworn the oath in office, stays out in case of an extraordinary threat to the continuity of government. Right now, the only people who have that oath are outgoing Biden administration officials. And we're told that there is no designated survivor today. Why?
There it is. They don't know. No designated survivor. I got to tell you, if I was in the cabinet, I would vote to be the designated survivor 100 out of 100 times. Can you imagine? They all have to get dressed up. You're like the Secretary of Agriculture or whatever, and everyone's got to get dressed up and go to these events. Your shoes hurt, and then the designated survivor gets to stay at some unmarked hotel somewhere. They probably give you a carte blanche when it comes to what, to-go foods you can, what dine-in foods you can have. So you choose like the worst. Hey, you're the designated survivor. You might as well live it up on the company dollar, right? Country's got the bill. So you've got mozzarella sticks, chicken parm. Which dessert should I have? Get them all. You're the designated survivor. Who the hell cares? Either way, they don't have one there. But again, there was no catastrophic event. Everybody is okay. And I guess it's a happy day for you if you stormed the Capitol. Trump pardons about 1,500 people that were January 6 defendants.
Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight. Frankly, they're expecting it.
Now, I'm torn on how I feel about this. I think there are different types of people that stormed the Capitol. I think there were violent insurrectionists, people that were assaulting police officers and banging down doors. And then there was a lot of, aunts and uncles that were like, walking through like they were on tour. Now, was it all illegal? Yes. Do I think some of them need 12 to 24 months or 4-year terms? No. But will he pardon any of the violent criminals? Yet to be seen. And again, I'm no expert on it, but I do think it would have been goodwill if Biden had pardoned some of the lesser criminals that were there that day. Again, it's one of those things, regardless of what you think about it, to some, Trump's going to look like a hero for doing this, and to others, he's not. And speaking of looking like a hero, not on my watch. This is a wild, wild story trending all over the internet. You'd have to see it with your own two eyes. Elon Musk, and the title for this TMZ article was, "We did not see this coming." News organizations are afraid to even show what I'm about to show to you. It was a moment here where Elon Musk, the polite way would be to say he waved to the crowd. The sinister way would be to say he saluted in the way they did in fascist regimes, one of which was Nazi Germany. The other, I guess you could say, well, they actually used to do this back in Roman times, which isn't much better because, again, it wasn't exactly of a democratic salute, as it were. And the people defending Elon Musk are saying, well, no, actually, he's just, the biggest offense is he's autistic and he has a hard time communicating in crowds. That's literally the only argument people have made on behalf of him. So here's the clip, folks. Here it is.
There are elections that come and go. Some elections are, important, some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
I mean, there it is. And he does it again.
My heart goes out to you.
And there's a whole, and he goes, my heart goes out to you. And then he holds his heart. Now, look, people defending him are sharing still shots of other leaders holding their hand up. Again, if it was just a photo holding your hand up, you'd go, well, there's a million things that could, anytime you're, a pastor, praying to the crowd, it would look the same way, but pretty convincing stuff. Now, do I think anyone's opinion is going to change watching my channel? No. And going into the comment section just goes to show that people aren't changing their opinions. They're gonna, the confirmation bias, they're gonna find their belief and stick to it. Again, they're calling it a very weird salute. Well, a Holocaust historian said, let me see if I can help. That wasn't a weird salute. It was a Hitler salute. And then they go on to call him a word that, look, I don't even think you can say these words on YouTube. So either way, feel how you want about it. But at the very least, I would say maybe let's keep our guard up because this is pretty wild. Now, AOC, was quick to respond and say, no, it is, this is exactly what it was. This is a man showing his colors. Again, you know what I mean? Day one, folks. Day one. All right, coming up next, we've got CoffeeZilla, one of the most trusted YouTubers who confronts scam artists. He'll be sharing his thoughts on the new Trump meme coin. Well, as you guys know, we've covered pump and dump schemes here from Haktua girl Haley Welch. Remember, she released her meme coin and then was accused of scamming her audience. Well, now Trump is being accused of scamming his audience because who's buying a Trump meme coin unless you're a fan of Trump, right? The last meme coin I bought was Dogecoin. I don't know, 4 years ago, whenever it was. I bought it for $100. It's now worth 20. That's how it works. Chances are by the time you find out about one of these coins, it's going to go down in value because they're not really worth anything. Well, CoffeeZilla is the absolute best when it comes to YouTube and calling out scammers. He's called out Logan Paul, even though Logan Paul's now suing him, but he's called out the different crypto scams that go on out there from influencers and other content creators who take advantage of their audience. Here he is finding out about the Trump meme coin and thinking it was a hoax. He didn't believe it with his own eyes.
He's launching a meme coin. Okay, that's the start of it. That's the start of the grift. Then you have to understand that the Trump meme coin, which has no value, no intrinsic value, 80% is owned by the Trump camp. Only 20% goes to the public. 10% went to the liquidity pool and 10% went to the public allocation. Here's the rest of it. This is their website. GetTrumpMemes.com. And yes, I've thought at first this was a hack. I was like, there's no way this could be true. They also have a, Donald Trump Truth Social post about it.
And then the next day, Melania Trump started her meme coin, and it goes on. So the idea being on these is so much is unregulated, and there's so much insider trading that by the moment these coins go public, everyone who was an early adopter that's like scouring the websites to see what new coins come out, unless you're that type of person, you're not getting in on the deal. So everyone who makes their money are making it off of people who are behind them. It's kind of like a pyramid scheme in a way. That's essentially how it works. So here is a reputable TikToker, Frank here, discussing how one guy already made several $100 million off of it. And again, that's money that's not come out of nowhere. That's money being made off of new people that are investing, which means those new people aren't going to make any. So when I paid $100 into Dogecoin, whoever decided to sell got that money, and I held until mine was run into the ground. It was, an experiment, and it didn't go well. Anyway, have a listen to this.
The insider who bought $1 million worth of Trump coin less than a minute after it launched has now completely cashed out. That person has now made $300 million in profit. Again,
an insider buys $1 million. The minute it comes out, it triples, and he says, I'm out, and he's done. Wild stuff.
They sold their entire stake in Trump coin right when it hit Robinhood. Even Coinbase is planning to list the Trump coin. So this is just a reminder that you shouldn't buy all the random coins you see on Robinhood, Coinbase, or any other exchange. And that's because their main goal is to make money off of you through trading fees. They don't.
Yeah, so that's exactly actually how Haley Welch were making money, predatory transaction fees. So every time you buy or sell, there's a fee that's going to go to the company. In this case, Robinhood, Coinbase, or one of these other companies that is the marketplace to buy and sell these coins. Folks, it's crazy out there. This idea that we're going to a world where we're going to clean things up and, the rich are going to get richer by playing into these scams. I mean, that's what it is. There's no intrinsic value to it. And I'm going to get DMs from people that are like big on the crypto scene and go, Dave, you're all wrong. Well, we'll see. Put your money where your mouth is, okay? If I'm all wrong, put all your money into Trump coin. It's just wild. So all of the insiders that get in early buy right away. And then when a whole bunch of popular people get in, it becomes some sort of gold rush. And then when everyone else gets in, where does it go? Same thing happened with NFTs when they had like the Trump trading card NFTs. Pretty scary stuff. All right. Well, and again, some people will say, Dave, that's Trump derangement syndrome. What are you talking about? Look, do whatever the hell you want with your money. Luckily, I know my parents have no idea how a Bitcoin or eCoins work, so I'm not too worried about it, but I would be heartbroken if they fell prey to a scam like this. All right, here it is. The moment Carrie Underwood was supposed to sing at the inauguration. Have a listen to the music cutout. Here it is. That's it. That wasn't a tech issue on my end. It's still playing if you're watching on YouTube. So it goes out, and then I guess she realizes after some shuffling that there's a technical issue, and she's going to have to sing a cappella. I'm going to leave you on this. Whatever you think about, stars, celebrities, performers performing at the inauguration, that's on you. But I got to tell you, Carrie Underwood nailed it a cappella. I'm guessing Kid Rock wouldn't have done this good, but maybe Kid Rock will see her after and he can invite her to his ski chalet.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
There it is, Carrie Underwood, right? All right. I mean, hey, that's a voice for you. No Kid Rock in that voice. That's going to do it for me. We'll be back this afternoon for The Rush. But also, if you want to check out YouTube today, I will have that video about Spencer Pratt, Nick Vel, and Ryan Reynolds. It's going to be a doozy. We'll see you then. I'm Dave. This is The Rush.